Hello, this is Jim Reynolds, and you are on the Christian Life Empowerment Podcast. Hey, I just wanted to take some time today and give everybody an update on some of the projects that Ultimate Mission is doing right now. Now, Ultimate Mission, of course, is the organization that is putting together this podcast and trying to bring you some useful information on how to become a missionary and spread the gospel to your community, to your world, or wherever your sphere of influence is. And so during this time of COVID, boy, we are all just kind of stuck, and it's really taken a lot of creativity and time and thought process to try to understand how to continue doing mission, right? I mean, usually right now I am in India. I'm in India for 3 weeks to a month, and I'm going from village to village, and we're doing training programs. And boy, it's just, I am really, really missing my people in India. Oh, I am missing it so bad. I mean, last year when I left India, you got to remember, in India, the women there are very withheld. They're very shy, and so it's hard to even get them to shake your hand. But after 4 or 5 years of doing training programs with these same wonderful ladies, at the end of last year when I left, I told them I wished I could give them a big hug, and I had like 40, 50 of these ladies all come up and try to hug me at the same time. It was the most amazing thing. So I guess I'm telling you this so you kind of understand the feeling and the emotion and the, I guess, the relationship that I built with these people. So not being able to be over there this year is just killing me. I mean, and the other thing about not being over there, you see, if I stay here in the United States and I stay in this US bubble where we have so much and there's abundance of everything, I start getting, I get to the point where I really don't realize what it's like everywhere else. I just start getting really comfortable in this U.S. bubble, in this Western mindset, and I don't really understand how the rest of the world lives because I'm desensitized here. I'm just really highly desensitized, and going over to India and getting into these third world countries at least once a year kind of helps me keep my mind where it needs to be to keep me motivated towards the mission and just kind of an understanding of how the world really works. Because I got to tell you, if you stay here in the United States and you've never spent any time outside and you've watched, people with no legs laying on the ground in the middle of the street begging for food, you've watched children that are hungry, and you see women that are just barely struggling along, their feet are all swollen up and they're just really skinny, and it's, this incredible malnutrition that you see in different places. And if you don't see that every once in a while and you just see what's around you here in the United States, you lose perspective on what the world is really like. And so I like that perspective. It's painful to watch some of these things, but it brings me back down to the reality I need to be in. And so I am missing that this year. And so, like I started to say, with the coronavirus, of course, we're having to be more creative about how we're going to do something. One of the things that Ultimate Mission has done this year is we've worked with the Hills and Valleys Church, and it's just been a wonderful experience. Of course, we weren't going to plant this church. We're working on planting this church. We weren't going to do it until September 11th of this year. But last year, when all the churches shut down, we just decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and start meeting. We started meeting on Zoom, and then, we started meeting in small groups as safely as we could. Matter of fact, we meet outside right now under an awning with those big heaters. We got 2 or 3 heaters in there, and it's been a little cold, and I got to tell you, the girls have been really brave. They're sitting there shivering as we're going through our, as we're going through our lesson. And it's different. It's not the same type of church that you would normally be used to, where you go in and there's somebody up front preaching to people sitting in pews. This is more of we're sitting there and we're reading a Bible story. We play some music. We do like a music video because, of course, nobody's supposed to be, singing right now. So we do this music video, and then And then everybody just, we start talking about what God has done in our lives this week. So it's kind of a personal testimony time. And then we play this, we found these cartoons, because what we do is we're going through the stories of the Bible. And so what we do for the kids is we try to give them some color, things to color, maybe some little craft things. And like I say, right now with it being so cold, it's tough to get the kids out there too. It's just, everything is tough. Tough. And so anyway, we come together, we give a personal testimony of what God's done for us this week. We watch this music video. We play the cartoon of the Bible story that we're going to be studying that day. Like I said, we don't have anybody that preaches a sermon. We read a Bible story and we discuss the Bible story. And the person, there's a different person that leads out every week. But that person isn't up there to teach the group. That person is up there to ask questions. That is the point of leading out. You don't tell everybody your beliefs and what you think. You're up there to lead out in a way that you're asking questions. The acronym that we use for leaders is WAIT, and it stands for Why Am I Talking? And so what we try to do is get people to lead out and ask powerful questions. It's kind of a life coaching model, self-discovery model of church. And we really like it. I mean, we are really enjoying this style of church. So that is one thing that we're doing during this time of COVID, to try to move things forward and to still be relevant in our community, and to still, you know what, Jesus can't sit still. The coronavirus may be going on. We don't know where it's going to end. But the gospel has got to keep, Barnum and Bailey, I'm not sure who said that the show must go on, but I think it came from the circus people. But it goes the same with the gospel message. The gospel message must go on. It doesn't matter what's happening around us. It doesn't matter if we're isolated or we've got these, different restrictions that we have. We've got to keep spreading the gospel to the world. There are people out there that are hurting. There are people out there. And that's part of the thing right now, is you see a lot of people under a lot of stress. And different age people, and people that you wouldn't even imagine, people you think that have it all together, that are struggling. I had this 12-year-old boy the other day. It was amazing. He's sitting there, and it's a young man that really has not got a chance to go to any type of church or anything like that, and he's just got these questions, and we're sitting there for a little bit, and he's talking to me, and he starts asking me these really deep questions for a 12-year-old, right? He said, for instance, there is, did God make evil? I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's all these bad things that happen. Did God make the coronavirus? Did God make bad things? And I said, no, I don't believe that God made bad things. He says, well, if you look at it, he says, in order to be, know what's good, you got to see the bad. In order to know love, you've got to know hate. I mean, there's always seems to be an opposite. Did God make evil? He goes, well, God must have, in order for you to know what is good. And I thought for a minute, and God kind of brought me, I think it was God. I mean, it wasn't me, but it was God kind of brought me to a conclusion, or to an answer that I'd never really thought of before. And I said, have you ever heard of the Garden of Eden? And he says, oh yes, I've heard of that. And I said, do you remember what the tree was called in the Garden of Eden? He said, no, I don't remember. And I said, well, it was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And I had never really thought of it before that moment, when that 12-year-old brought up that whole yin and yang thing, that for every good thing, there must be a bad thing. There must be an opposing force. But and what I explained to him is that tree was the knowledge of both good and evil. Before Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they didn't know not only what evil was, they didn't know what good was. They didn't know, because all they knew was this was life. Now we can look back at the Garden of Eden and say, hey, that was all good. But to them, it wasn't good or evil. It just was. It just was. And unfortunately, we're in this time that we know the difference between good and evil. Unfortunately, we're in this time right now where everything around us is just a big pile of stress. But gotta know that we're going to a place, we're going to end up at a place where things are all good, where we don't know the difference between good and evil because it's just going to be all good. Now, I don't know if that, I guess we're going to understand good and evil in the new world and in the kingdom of God, but God says that sin will never raise a second time. We'll never go back. We'll never go back to what we've got now. And so there's hope. Through all of this that we're going through right now, trying to figure out how we get to church and speak with mask on. I agreed to speak at Lentz Church coming up at the last Saturday of this month, and I'm trying to think, well, I haven't done a sermon with a mask on. I am not looking forward to that because every time I try to talk with a mask on, it's falling down over my nose. My nose is itching. I'm miserable. So doing a whole sermon with a mask on, I am not looking forward to that. But God will pull us through. I mean, we're going through all these times of difficulty and wondering, okay, what do we do? I walk into a room and nobody's got a mask on, and I'm like, am I supposed to be the only one with a mask on? Is this, am I being that guy, that real paranoid freak that walks in with a mask on, or if I don't walk into with a mask on, am I being a hypocrite because I tell people it's probably good we wear a mask? I don't know. It's such a hard time to live in right now. I can't wait for this to be over. And that is one thing I want to bring out is this is going to be over. One way or another, this whole thing is going to be over. There's three schools of thought that I think are happening. And one school of thought is this pandemic is really bad. It's killing a lot of people, and we should be as careful as we can and try to get through this and try to stay as safe as possible. Then there's another school of thought that is this is all, this is overblown, that we are seeing, the news media, you can't trust the news, you can't trust our leaders, you can't trust the vaccine. And so there's that perspective too. And then there's the perspective that, well, this is it. This is the end of time. This is, the governments are pushing us to try to train us to do exactly what they say so that, they can, that the Antichrist comes and we will be already in tune with the government, and we will do what they say, and we will follow the Antichrist because, we're already wearing masks. We're already taking this vaccine that is bad for us and all this stuff. And so, you got these three perspectives that this is very important and real. This is a overblown hoax, and this is the end of time. But I got to tell you, either way, this is going to end soon. We have hope. Either way, there is a positive outcome for any way you look at this. Okay, let me explain. If you think that this is really bad and this is something we should work towards trying to eliminate and keep our mask on and social distance and take the vaccine, well, then these vaccines are coming out pretty quick, and so hopefully by this summer, by this fall, it's going to be over. It's going to be over, hopefully. I mean, there's some naysayers say it's going to last forever, but it's not. We know it's not. It's going to be over. It's a virus. It's going to be eliminated with whatever. Okay, so let's say you don't believe in the vaccines. You believe the whole thing's overblown. Well, guess what? We're all getting sick of this stuff. I mean, I'm not walking around with a mask forever. I don't care what you say. Even if I got to die, I am not going to walk around with a mask for the rest of my life. I'm just not going to do it. And so even if I do believe this way, if this is a big hoax, guess what? It can't last much longer. It's only going to last till this summer and this fall. You can't just keep this hoax going forever if this is a hoax. Okay, let's look at this third, thought process. What if this is the end of time? What if this is the government trying to indoctrinate us, trying to get us in tune with the Antichrist, so that when, the Antichrist comes, we'll all be following into the mark, into the beast, and get the mark of the beast and all this kind of stuff. Well, if you look into Revelation 18, you look into Revelation, you can see that, a lot of Bible prophecy, they're very long. You have the 2300 day prophecy, which those of us that study prophecy understand the day-year principle, all right, where a day equals a year. So 2300 day prophecy is a 2300 year prophecy. Or you look at the 40-week or the 70-week prophecy, which is 490 days, which is 490 years. These are long time periods, right? But you look at Revelation 18, it says the great city will fall in an hour. An hour, when things happen at the very end, when Jesus is going to come, when the Antichrist, shows up, and all these things start happening. It happens very, very, very fast. So one or three things is going to happen. Well, one or two things is going to happen. The coronavirus is going to go away, and we're going to go back to normal. That's one thing. I mean, which side you believe in. Or this is all the government getting us ready for the Antichrist, and Jesus is going to come very soon. And so, either way you look at it, there's hope. There is hope in Jesus. There is hope in Jesus. There is really no reason for us to argue with each other. Facebook. Come on, guys. We have got to stop putting everything we think up in Facebook. We got to stop doing it. It's just killing it. And I'm guilty of it. I mean, I've seen things I couldn't scroll past, so I went ahead and remarked on it, and then, oh boy, it just starts a firestorm. We got to stop putting stuff on Facebook. We do. Positive stuff, pictures of grandkids, pictures of nature, Bible verse. Put that stuff up on social media. Let's stop arguing with each other, because really, this is going to be over one way or the other. This is going to be over, but our relationships, that's what's important. And I got to tell you, our relationship with Jesus Christ right now, throughout all of this, is the most important thing that we can focus on. So, this is my update. This is Ultimate Mission is doing its best to move forward. We're looking at expanding into Africa. We're very excited about that. We're looking at putting more women to work in India. We're very excited about that. And then we're part of this church plant in Oregon City that starts on 9/11/2021, and we are extremely excited about that. So pray for us. We'll pray for you. Join us, talk to us, call us. Go to ultimatemission.net and look at our website. Go on the contact page. Contact us. You can email me at ultimatemission1@gmail.com. That's ultimatemission1@gmail.com. Let's talk. Let's discuss things. Let's see where we can move forward. If you have anything you want to do, any kind of idea you have for ministry, just get a hold of us. We are happy to help you, join you, work with you, do whatever needs to be done. Our goal is to help people become missionaries so we can spread the gospel to the world and take as many people home to heaven with us as possible. So God bless you. Have a great day, and goodbye.